Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. And if you're a true General Hospital fan, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get started with today's video. According to General Hospital, GH, previews on Thursday, July 23rd, Willow Kane, Caitlin McMullen, will try to lay down the law with Nina Reeves, Cynthia Wetros, over how they would manage Drew Kane, Caitlin McMullen. Maxie Jones, Kirsten Storms, will also shake up deception after reaching an arrangement with Michael Corinthos, Rory Gibson. So, let's talk about all of the upcoming drama. For starts, Nina will devise a dangerous strategy to deal with Drew, but Willow will insist that they will control him without taking harsh measures. Willow will do her best to steer Nina away from any reckless movements, but it appears Nina will make one soon enough. Nina will put Drew up near the lake's edge to watch Scout Quartermain, Caden Brenna Tokarski, practice swimming, and he will surprise her by speaking, leaving her shocked. All signs point to Drew ending up in the sea, therefore Nina could be the one who pushes him in. Michael will then have a critical conversation with Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Grahn, which will most likely include legal details. Maxie recently phoned Michael with an exciting idea, so he might gain control of her shares and become an important deception player. In the meantime, Tracy Quartermain, Jane Elliott, will strike out at Lucy Cole and Herring, suspecting that her competitor will use a distressed James West, Gary James Fuller, to influence Maxie into doing what she wants. What's stopping you from stealing Maxie with the help of a grieving child? Tracy demanded to know in Thursday's GH teaser video. Maxie and Michael's deal will eventually shake up deception dramatically, so stay tuned to see Tracy, Lucy, and Brooklyn Quartermain, Amanda Seton, react to some big news. Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard, will urge Rocco Falconeri, Finn Carr, to take a little break so that they can discuss something essential. It appears like Sonny will admit that Rocco shot Ross Cullum, Andrew Hawks, and tell his grandson that he is available if Rocco ever needs to talk. Laura Collins, Jeannie Francis, is aware that Rocco shot Cullum, therefore she will speak with Dante Falconeri, Dominic Zamprogna, about the unaccounted-for evidence at the PCPD. Anna Devane, Finola Hughes, is already suspicious of all the missing paperwork and documentation, so Laura warns Dante about the problems he could get into for this cover-up. Harrison Chase, Josh Swickard, will also meet with Anna, who will stress that she trusts him. Chase will be given a chance to prove himself, and Anna may rely on him to resolve the missing evidence dilemma. According to General Hospital spoilers, Chase may be given another chance to take the detective test and restart his career, so stay tuned. The tension in Port Charles boiled like the summer heat on the streets outside General Hospital. Willow Kane stood in her quaint living room, arms crossed tightly over her chest, facing her mother, Nina Reeves. The air between them buzzed with unresolved past and new urgency. Nina strode back and forth, her high shoes clicking fiercely on the hardwood floor. "Willow, you have to see this for what it is," Nina said, her voice low but firm. "Drew is dangerous. He's wormed his way into everything. Your life, the family, even the business. We can't just sit back and hope he slips up. I have a plan. It's risky, but it could end this nightmare once and for all." Willow's eyes gleamed with resolve. She'd spent far too many nights grappling with her complex emotions, the pull of her children, and Drew's shadow over her life.
"No, Mom.
I forbid it. Whatever drastic action you're cooking up, we are not going there. We control him without crossing lines that could destroy us all. Think about Scout, think about the kids. I'm not letting this turn into something that blows back on them." Nina stopped pacing, her expression a mix of frustration and reluctant admiration. Willow had grown stronger and more forceful, particularly after her interactions with Michael and the custody disputes. But Nina was not one to give up quickly. "You're playing it safe, honey. Drew doesn't play safe. He plays to win, and right now he's winning." Willow continued their chat, carefully laying out reasons about patience, legal options, and family protection. She created a picture of a deliberate approach, accumulating evidence, organizing supporters, and remaining above the fray. Nina listened, but her thoughts were preoccupied with the strange idea that was growing in her head. She wouldn't push Willow now, but she couldn't let Drew go unchecked. Not after all he'd done. Meanwhile, across town, Maxie Jones burst through the doors of the Deception headquarters with determination. Her face bore the weight of recent grief and business pressures, yet there was a glint of strategy in her eyes. She'd just hung up with Michael Corinthos, and their talk had changed everything. Michael sat in his own beautiful office, staring at his phone when the call ended. Maxie's proposition caught him off surprise at first, but as he thought about it, it made more sense. She needed an ally, someone with resources and a real interest in keeping Deception stable. In exchange, he would obtain influence, and possibly even ownership of some shares. It was a deal that had the potential to transform the corporation while also giving him leverage in his own complicated personal life. This could work, Michael whispered to himself, anticipating the upcoming boardroom conflicts. He booked a meeting with Alexis Davis to discuss the legal aspects. Alexis, ever the clever attorney, would guide him through the fine print and any dangers. Tracy Quartermain rushed into Deception like a force of nature, commanding immediate attention. Lucy Coe following behind, seeking to smooth things over with her normal style, but Tracy was having none of it. Tracy shouted, her voice echoing around the room. "What is preventing you from using a grieving child to steal Maxie?" She suspected Lucy of using James West's fragility to entice Maxie back into the fold on her terms. The accusation hung heavy, sparking a heated debate between the two lifelong foes. Brooklyn Quartermain watched from the sidelines, her loyalty strained as the drama unfolded. Maxie's bargain with Michael was going to shake the foundations of Deception. When word of the deal spread, shares transferring, Michael taking on a more prominent role, reactions were intense. Tracy reacted angrily to the apparent betrayal, Lucy tried to defend her vision for the company, and Brooklyn found herself stuck in the middle, arguing for stability while questioning the new power dynamics. The office was buzzing with murmurs and heated conversations. Maxie remained steadfast, arguing that this cooperation was essential for survival in a competitive business. Deception needs fresh blood and real strategy, she claimed. Michael brings that. The fallout continued throughout the afternoon. Phone calls flew between executives, lawyers were consulted, and the company's existence hung in the balance. Michael, loyal to his pledge, began studying financials and devising strategies to elevate Deception while protecting his personal interests. It was more than simply business. It was personal redemption mixed with corporate cunning. At the Corinthos compound, Sonny sat in a quiet corner of the living room with his grandson Rocco Falconeri. The weight of unsaid truths pressed down on them. Sonny's face was laced with apprehension, his customary gangster arrogance tempered by familial love. "Rocco, take a break for a bit," Sonny murmured softly, motioning for the young man to sit. "We need to talk about something important." Rocco shifted uncomfortably, going back to that fateful night, the confrontation, the shot that altered everything with Ross Cullum. Sonny knew. He had pieced it together, and now he presented it clearly yet compassionately. "I know what happened. You don't have to carry this alone. I'm here if you ever need to open up, kid. No judgment. Family protects family." The heart-to-heart began slowly, with Sonny sharing stories from his own turbulent past, drawing parallels to teach resilience and the value of relying on loved ones. Rocco listened, and his load lightened significantly as he felt recognized and supported rather than isolated. It was a rare vulnerable time for them, and it strengthened their friendship amidst the mayhem of Port Charles. Laura Collins met with her son Dante Falconeri at the PCPD, her expression grim. She had discovered unsettling details concerning missing evidence in the Cullum case, including missing records and unaccounted-for proof. "Dante, we need to be careful," Laura said. "This cover-up could land you in serious trouble. Anna's already suspicious about the missing files. I had to tip you off." Dante scratched his temples, the pressure of his situation growing. Protecting his son had led to ethical quandaries, and now the consequences loomed. Laura's information was useful, but it also highlighted the risks. They strategized quietly, assessing strategies for mitigating the consequences without jeopardizing the department. Later, Anna Devane approached Harrison Chase for a private talk. "I need to know that I can trust you," she stated firmly, her gaze fixed on his. Chase, eager to show himself following previous defeats, nodded. This was his opportunity to step forward, possibly retake the detective test, and restore his professional path. Anna described an assignment utilizing the missing proof that would put his loyalty and skills to the test. Chase accepted without hesitation, anxious to demonstrate his dependability in the midst of departmental instability. Back with Nina and Willow, the mother-daughter standoff struck a fragile ceasefire, but Nina's resolve became stronger. She was unable to shake her insane thought. Later that day, she planned a covert setup near the lake where Scout Quartermain was practicing her swimming lessons. Drew arrived, as if attracted by an invisible thread, and watched from the edge. The altercation immediately escalated. Drew's words cut hard, stunning Nina with his confidence and subtle threats. Emotions boiled over, with claims of manipulation, family intervention, and past betrayal. Drew lost his balance or was pushed during a heated moment, causing accounts to blur. He ended up in the water, flailing briefly before emerging soaked and enraged. Nina stood there, pulse beating, understanding her plan had gotten out of control. Willow would be furious if she found out, but Nina regarded it as a necessary risk. Drew's influence needed to be curbed. Michael concluded his discussion with Alexis, leaving legal notes sprawled over the table that provided a road plan for the deception deal. "This changes things," Alexis observed, her analytical mind instantly detecting potential and pitfalls. Michael felt a sense of purpose, protecting his family and restoring agency following the split with Willow. Throughout the day, strands of drama interlinked. Tracy's concerns about Lucy generated additional debates at deception, with James's safety becoming a source of contention. Maxie handled the aftermath with poise, and her alliance with Michael provided a lifeline. Sunny's conversation with Rocco provided emotional support, whereas Laura and Dante's chat emphasized the importance of justice and family devotion. Anna's trust in Chase indicated about redemption arcs for the police force. Willow received a concerned call regarding the lake incident as the evening neared. Her objections against Nina's plan had been ignored, and now the consequences threatened to drag everyone deeper into conflict. She dashed to confront her mother, the cycle of protection and defiance continuing in typical Port Charles style. The agreements, heart-to-hearts, near drownings, and power shifts produced a picture of a town in which alliances formed and broke down on a daily basis. Maxie and Michael's cooperation had brought new energy and controversy to deception, anticipating fireworks at subsequent board meetings. Nina's daring move against Drew fueled the personal vendettas, causing Willow to reconsider her boundaries. Sunny's support for Rocco demonstrated the enduring strength of family relationships, even in the darkest of times. And the PCPD's involvement with Anna, Chase, Laura, and Dante hinted investigations that could reveal more secrets than anyone expected. In the quiet moments between explosions, characters thought on their decisions. Willow contemplated parenthood and autonomy, wondering how far she would go to protect her loved ones. Nina struggled with the implications of her impetuous behavior, her love for Willow competing with her spiteful tendencies. Michael imagined a future in which business achievement complemented his personal struggles. Tracy and Lucy's feud, as always, provided comedic relief amidst the stakes, with their barbs hiding deeper fears about legacy and relevance. Willow stood in the living room of the house she used to share with Michael, her arms crossed tightly over her chest, facing her mother. The afternoon light crept through the drapes, leaving long shadows on the floor, yet the tension in the air made the room appear smaller and heavier. Nina Reeves strode back and forth, her high shoes tapping forcefully on the hardwood. Her expression was a mixture of determination and despair. "Mom, I said no," Willow repeated, her voice firm but with an edge that astonished even herself. "Whatever strategy you had with Drew must end here." Nina stopped pacing and looked at her daughter with startled eyes. "Forbid it? Willow, honey, you do not comprehend what is at stake. Drew has been through hell, and Michael is using every dirty tactic in the book to keep the kids away from him. We need to fight fire with fire," Willow said, her jaw tightening. She had changed so much in the last several months. The gentle, idealistic nurse who previously believed in second chances had hardened into someone sharper, more protective of the fragile new life she was creating with Drew. but even she had limitations. Nina, your plan includes manipulating people, secrets, and who knows what more. I will not allow you to drag Drew farther into this disaster. He is finally putting his life back together after everything. The wedding is coming up. Nina's countenance softened, but her eyes were filled with the strong protectiveness that only a mother could conjure. She stretched out and touched Willow's arm. This isn't only about Drew. It's about reuniting with your children, Wiley and Amelia. Michael had them wrapped around his finger, and now that Sasha has taken Daisy and left town, he is even more explosive. My contact with Drew provides us considerable leverage. We can expose his weaknesses and force him to deal fairly. Willow backed away, shaking her head. The mention of Michael's new daughter with Sasha still stung, even if she managed to hide it most of the time. No. I saw what happened to Portia. She told me about the blackmail and lab findings. I supported Drew back then because I was desperate, but I will not allow you to turn him into a monster. Or convert me into one. Stop it, Mom. Or I will. Despite Nina's pleas, Willow's resolve remained unwavering throughout the confrontation. Nina's eyes welled up with tears as she realized her formerly pliable daughter had drawn a hard line. Outside, the Port Charles breeze conveyed the distant noises of the water, reminding us that life in this town is never silent for long. Meanwhile, across town at Metro Court, Maxie Jones sat in the deception offices, her fingers tapping on the elegant conference table. The company had experienced its fair share of ups and downs, product launches that soared, scandals that nearly sunk them, but today felt different. Michael Corinthos reclined back in the chair across from her, looking every bit the determined Quartermain air despite the weariness on his face. Are you serious about this? Maxie inquired, her tone a mix of enthusiasm and apprehension. She twirled a strand of her blonde hair, the creative director's cap securely on her head after years of striving for stability at Deception. Michael nodded and passed a folder across the table. Dead serious. Deception need new funding and direction following supply challenges and the aftermath of Sidwell's actions. I have resources available through YelQ to stabilize the supply chain, extend distribution, and invest in new lines. In exchange, I want a stake. Not much control, just enough to preserve my interests and give you the freedom to manage the creative side without Lucy's constant drama or external threats. Maxie glanced through the documents, her eyes examining the stipulations. It was a good deal. Michael's investment would shake the roots of Deception in the best way possible, modernizing operations, expanding into new areas, and potentially raising their profile. But it came with strings, Quartermain influence, which was always strong at Port Charles. Lucy is going to flip. Tracy if she finds out about this. And Brooklyn, she's family to you, but this could shift the power balance big time. Michael responded calmly. Deception has had far too many near-death experiences. This relationship ensures it. You get to retain your vision intact, Maxie. I'm not here to control the lipstick colors or advertising strategies. I want dependability for the company my daughter's mother worked for, and, frankly, a win that isn't tainted by all the personal drama with Willow and Drew. Maxie leaned forward, a spark in her eyes. She had always been the driving force behind Deception's inventiveness, overcoming betrayals, comas, and corporate takeovers. This bargain seemed like a lifeline. Okay, I'm in. However, we'll proceed in my own way with the launch. No leaks until we have the board's approval, or at least enough votes to make it work. And Michael, if this is a backdoor means to get at Willow or Drew, I'm done. Deception isn't a weapon, Michael said, his expression darkening quickly as he mentioned his ex. This is business. Pure and straightforward. The personal stuff is separate. The two shook hands, the weight of the agreement falling between them. They had no idea how rapidly the word would spread, vibrating through Port Charles like a stone skipped across the lake. Willow's phone buzzed when she returned home. Drew texted, "What's for dinner tonight? Wedding details are being finalized. Love you." She smiled softly, but her previous argument with Nina lingered. Forbidding her mother's participation in Drew's machinations was one thing. Dealing with the consequences in a town full of secrets was another. She considered Michael's new connection with Maxie a deception, which would only complicate custody disputes more. Deception's success may boost his reputation as a reliable provider, while her own relationship with Drew remained under question. Nina had left in a huff, offering nothing but certainly making preparations. Willow slumped into the couch, glancing at images of Wiley and Amelia on the mantel. Motherhood had always been her rock, despite the scandals, lies, and machinations. Supporting Drew's rougher edges had been a survival strategy, but she wouldn't let Nina push him, or her, to the brink. Later that evening, Maxie met with Lucy Coe at Kelly's diner for what she believed would be a successful pitch. Lucy, the theatrical force behind deception, sipped her coffee with furrowed eyes as Maxie lay out the broad strokes of the Michael deal, minus the fine print. "Michael Corinthos? Are you out of your mind, darling?" Lucy exclaimed, almost dropping her beverage. "The man is involved in every Quartermaine feud imaginable. What if this is a ruse to destabilize us?"